up, guys? Welcome to Stand Firm with Ben. My name is Ben, obviously, and we're really excited because we got Dallin Pili in the house. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. Happy to be here, brother.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah.
I know it's a Friday. You could be doing anything else on a Friday, but thanks for showing up and having this conversation with me.
Of course, man. It's an honor.
What you been up to, dude? How was your vacation?
It was good, bro. Just been honestly these past couple months, I've just been trying to spend extra time with the family.
Okay.
We just recently got back into town. The whole family went out on a little vacation for a week, and so just trying to get back into the swing of things, and just trying to catch up.
That's good, bro. That's good. Actually, let's do this. Grab the. I'm gonna make it closer, just so you can be like in a good position for it.
Okay.
There we go. That's way better. There. That's good, bro. That's good. Well, dude, let's jump into this thing. I'm really excited for you to be here and what we're going to talk about. Guys, as I told you guys before, this is all about entrepreneurship, what it takes to win, especially the mental game. And I wanted Dallin to come here and share his story because, I mean, dude, you've been able to build such a successful business at a really young age, which I think is really impressive. And as I was saying before, you've been able to do things that most people do when they're like 35 or 40. So I really want to talk about that. But let's jump in how we met. We met, it was like 6 months ago?
I think closer to a year now.
Like a year?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a happy
So I think it was like
Happy anniversary, bro.
6 months from the 20U event. I think that was like around 6 months.
Yeah.
So whenever that was. So
yeah, because we met through Dusky,
right?
Mm-hmm. Because he used to work with you,
Yep.
and then I think he was posting something on social
Yep.
media of our event.
Yep.
And then we followed each other. And it was funny because I was going to the gym.
Yeah, I ran into you.
Yeah,
at the gym.
and I saw your big ass truck, which is beautiful.
That's right.
And I was like, I know this guy. You just follow me. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna go talk to him.
Yeah.
So that's cool how it works. But anyway, then you spoke at our event, which that was amazing. Your story and everything. I really respect that. And yeah, dude, talk about your story. I mean, where you from, so people can get to know you.
Yeah. So my story is simple. I am born and raised here in Utah. Actually, here in Provo, Utah. I grew up here. I grew up with I'm one of 8 siblings. So I've
Are you the youngest?
I'm the second to the youngest.
Second to youngest.
Yep.
How old is your younger brother or sister?
22.
22.
22. Yep.
Okay.
And so, I mean, ton of competition in the house growing up. It was
all brothers, or you have a?
So 6 brothers, 2 sisters.
Would you guys like beat each other up? Like, that's
So like,
sick.
we all played sports. I come from a sports background. But dude, yeah, just grew up here in Utah in a house full of siblings. It was mayhem. And then ended up, I also grew up with a single mother, which, I bring that up because that shaped a lot of who I am today and where I'm going.
What about your dad?
My parents got divorced.
Okay.
And so, I still would contact my dad every now and then.
Okay.
But he comes and goes, but
Do you have a good relationship with him at all? Or?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a bad relationship with him. He's definitely, he's not someone that I depend on like I depended on my mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, big mama's boy. I think all of us were. And, and like I said, I bring that up just because that's who shaped, who I am today and who I am trying to become. Right. So that's a little bit about my background. Went to high school over at Pleasant Grove and loved it there. Played football, basketball, rugby. Like I played everything. Ended up going on a mission. I served a mission for my church. Came back home, played football for 2 years at the University of Utah.
Yeah.
Loved it there. The dream was cut short, and that's what got me to where I'm at now. So it was a detrimental experience that turned into a huge blessing.
Yeah.
Dude. Super
so you got into entrepreneurship. Tell people what you do, the businesses that you're running.
Yeah.
The highlights of your story right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's nothing too crazy. I feel like a lot of people are doing the same thing. I own a financial consulting firm where we deal with entrepreneurs who are looking to start up and scale their online businesses. So a lot of e-commerce stuff, a lot of fulfillment, a lot of warehousing. But then I also have other businesses on the side where, I rent out exotic cars. I rent out luxury cars. And then my wife has a business as well.
What's your the coolest car that you have for renting?
So
I saw you had you have a Rolls Royce, right?
no,
Or you don't?
I wish that's my dream.
Oh, but it was in your story. I think it was like renting. or
Yeah,
something.
so one of my buddies
Oh, one of your buddies.
that
Yeah.
he rents out his cars as well.
Yeah.
He rents it out through my platform. And
Oh,
so
okay, gotcha.
he has a Rolls Royce. I made a promise with myself actually that so that's my dream car. I made a promise with myself that I wouldn't purchase a Rolls Royce until I built my dream home.
Do you like the Cullinan?
The Cullinan. That's the big one.
The big one, or you like the
No, the Cullinan. Yeah.
Do you like that one?
And so I'm a bigger guy, and so I prefer more comfortable cars.
Yeah.
But again, like I was so close to pulling the trigger on one, like last year.
Really?
But again, I had to stick to my word. I promised myself that after I purchased and after I built my dream home, that I would gift myself
A gift.
my dream
A
car,
proper gift.
my dream car, and so that motivates me to try to hurry up and build my dream home so that I could.
Are you building already or not?
Not right now. We
Not yet?
just built that we're gonna be renting out here pretty soon.
Okay.
But yeah, I think my favorite car. I'm a truck guy, so I mean I have a lot of cars. I have Lamborghinis and G-Wagons and stuff like that. But I think my favorite car is my truck.
It looks badass.
I drive a Raptor.
I could hear when when it was coming.
Yeah,
outside.
so I drive a Shelby Raptor. There's 250 of them in the
Yeah.
world. Ever since I was a little kid, I always thought those were like the sweetest cars. And
When are
so-
you getting? Because you told me you put the down payment for the new one, right?
Yeah,
You did?
the Gen 3.
Okay.
So I don't know when I'm going to get that. They keep pushing the date back. I see people starting to get there, so hopefully I'll be
But
getting
with
that
like the Shelby Baja Raptor or
the Shelby Baja Raptor. So mine is the Gen 2. They just came out with the Gen 3.
Are you buying it like through Tuscany Motors or?
No, I'm buying it directly through Ford.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's a dealership I think it's in Michigan or I don't know. It's like Red Egg something, and they have a bunch of Shelby Baja Raptors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
probably it's easier to get
Yeah.
than getting
So
it through Ford.
so that's like my favorite car.
That's cool.
That's a car. So like I said, I rent out all my cars. I
Okay.
rent out the exotics, the luxury. That's the car that I don't rent out. That's
You don't rent out the truck.
That's
Okay,
my
that's
personal.
your thing.
Yep.
Okay. So you have Omega Financial.
Yeah, Omega Financial. We have the rental car company.
Okay.
And then my wife has a business that I help her with, where we provide housing for clients with disabilities. So we provide, the housing, the support, the education, trying to teach them, social cues and social awareness. These are people with disabilities that are transitioning into adulthood. So those are the things that we're currently dabbling in right now. It's been a lot of fun, and it's definitely keeping us busy.
That's awesome, brother. And dude, one of the things I wanted to talk about is because you have the cars, you like fly private and like live the life that most people want. And it's really trending right now in social media, like, oh, jump into entrepreneurship, be your own boss, get this, get that. And a lot of people are jumping into this thing, especially young kids, but they don't really know what it takes, like the mental game. And that's something I really wanted to talk about because it's not all like sunshines and rainbows and butterflies and like easy and like be a millionaire in like 6 months and then you're good at, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really want to talk about like the behind the scenes and the stuff that most people don't talk about, which is the process.
Okay.
And well, let's just jump in it. What are those things that you've seen in your life that's been like the biggest struggle into entrepreneurship, jumping into entrepreneurship for you?
First is balance.
Balance.
I don't think there is such thing.
Okay, a lot of people talk about have balance right on your
No.
twins. I totally disagree.
So do
What's
I.
your take
So
on
do
it?
I. So
Okay.
I don't think there's a such thing, nor would I ever want it. When they talk about balance, have a balanced lifestyle, to me it doesn't make sense.
What's your definition of balance though?
The way I look at balance, I look at it as like a scale, right? That you have to spend this the same amount of time you put towards work. You should equally spend the same amount of time spending towards family, and equally spend
Your
that
social
time,
life
your
and
social,
everything.
your spiritual.
Okay.
Like I look at it as like a scale, right? And they should all be balanced. And
Like
for-
everything is equal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for me, I disagree with that.
Okay. Why?
For me, I'm not going to spend the same amount of time on something that I prioritize versus something that I don't prioritize.
Yeah.
Like for me, my goal, my 100-year plan is for my family, right? Like, becoming an entrepreneur, the reason why I wanted to become an entrepreneur is so that I could start to buy back my time, so that I can spend my time with the people that I love the most. Right. And I've learned, I think as how I grew up, right? Like I grew up with a single mother. I grew up in housing, right? In government housing where they were helping us pay our rent. Like that's how I grew up.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's how I grew up. And for me, because I grew up in that scene and with that type of background, I never had a good relationship with money, right? What I mean by that is when I made money, I was scared to lose it. Right. And again, that's just how I was raised. I think that's the old school mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so as I got older, everything that I did was, okay, how can I go out and make a lot of money and keep it? Right? That was the only objective that I had.
So it came from a sense of lack.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good way to put it, right? Because
dude, I believe that in 100%.
Yeah, and it was something that I never had and that I always wanted.
Yeah.
And so to me, that was the goal. That was the objective. That's what I thought all wealthy, successful, happy people were doing. As I got more heavily involved with entrepreneurship, as I became a little bit older and some would say a little bit more wiser, not really though, I started to realize that money or things that are monetary aren't the most precious commodity that one could obtain. I learned that it was time, right? Because you could spend $1.
When did you learn that though?
When I had my own family,
okay.
Right? Because everything that I did everything that I'm doing now is so that I can go home as early as I can and go spend time with my 2 sons, my wife, my siblings, my family. Like that's the goal right there. Right. And again, how I grew up, I thought the goal was all monetary things. It was all materialistic things, the private, the nice cars. Right. Like that's what I thought was it. But then I started getting those things and it was like, okay, that's not as cool as I thought it was.
You're like the same dude.
Yeah, dude. And like, I mean, for example, everyone's goal, I feel like being young is to make 6 figures, to break that 6-figure mark. Right. Like when I used to do sales. I used to do door-to-door sales, and being in the door-to-door industry, there's like the few, they call it heavy hitters, right? Like the guys that are the best at what they do.
Yeah.
And when we would see those heavy hitters, it was like, hey, that guy made 6 figures last year. And I'd be like, dang, that's what I want to be. Right. But then I made 6 figures and I was like, okay, well, this isn't as cool as I thought it would be. Right. Like I thought making 6 figures was going to be everything, even with $1 million. Right. Like I thought making $1 million was like, okay, it's time to retire. It's not it, man. Where I realize is it's the fulfillment that comes with it, where you actually find happiness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fulfillment for me was not going on these lavish trips and buying all these luxury things, but doing those
Which
things.
is cool, though.
No, it is. And I still love that.
Cool.
Don't get me wrong. I still love that stuff.
Yeah.
But doing those things with the people that I love, even better.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of found my purpose. And that's where I still go to when I need more fulfillment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you think, because I mean, a lot of stuff that you post in social media, I can relate a lot, like especially with like family stuff, and I mean, what you just went through a couple months, and I was not planning to talk about this, but if you're cool, like if we can talk about like your family and everything,
yeah,
because for me that's my personal thing, like it's the person I love the most.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things that fuel me in life come from the relationship I have with her. And a lot of people think of like the urgency and everything, and it's like, I want to win for her because she doesn't have time. Like she has had cancer, my little brother has tumors all over his body, and he could die like tomorrow.
Yeah. So
he's like, it's not like that I'm just love working and everything, which is cool, I do, but it's because I want to spend more time with them. I want to win for them. Mm-hmm. You know, so I really want to talk about like your fuel with your mom, if that makes sense. I mean, you had a great relationship with her. If he was like the only person that raised you when you were a kid. Yeah. So how was that, like the relationship with your mom, and how that affected your business, your personal life, and everything that came with it?
Oh man, yeah. So my mom, dude. So she was everything. She was everything to me. She was the reason why, I became an entrepreneur. She was the reason why I was an athlete. She was the reason why, my good traits as a husband and as a father came from her.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Like, she was everything to me. Like, I feel like I was lucky as a human to have someone like her in my life, where she wore all the different hats. She was a doctor. She was a nurse. She was a financial advisor. She was a CPA. She was a coach. She was a trainer. She was everything to me, right? Like, any question. So with a little background of my mom, and I've never talked about this before. So a little background of my mom. She had her first kid when she was 15 years old.
Really?
My oldest brother.
Okay.
Because of that, strong LDS. She comes from a strong LDS family.
Okay.
Because of that, she was pretty much. Her parents disowned her.
Like a lot of judgment
at 15 years old.
Yeah.
So my mom was forced to become resourceful, right? Where she was manipulating applications for jobs just so that she could get a job, right? I mean, she was able to, we were living off of food stamps and WIC programs and freaking government housing, where she was paying like $18 a month for rent, but she figured out how to do all that stuff on her own. And I was just talking to my brothers about this the other day, and I was so oblivious as a kid because everything that my mom went through as a kid, I thought I came from a rich family. Because it didn't matter.
Really?
Yes. Like, I didn't even know we were on government housing until I came home. I was maybe 21, 22. I never knew that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the reason why I thought we were rich was because anything, like, dude, we had this tradition. Every Monday, we would go out to a movie. It wasn't Tuesday for $5 Tuesdays. We would just go as a big family, which, think about it. That's 9 people. Yeah, every Monday. It's pricey, but we would go every Monday. Every Saturday, we would go to the mall, and we were all, me and my siblings were able to pick one thing. And now that I'm older, I look back at it, I'm like, how the hell did my mom make that work? And I bring that up because that has helped me transition into the different phases of my life, because what that taught me was that as they say, if there's a will, there's a way. Yeah. Right. For me, it taught me to commit first and figure out the rest later.
Bro, when you said that the first time I met you or something like that, has stuck in my head for so long.
No, seriously, and there's a lot of negative connotation when it comes to those types of phrases. Yeah. But for me, it's gotten me to the point where I'm at now. But I learned that from the examples that my mom had taught us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do you think when you were young, like, did you see that though? Like, did you appreciate, or now that you're older?
No, I did not. I didn't appreciate that at all, bro. Like, I just thought every kid in America had that. I thought everyone had that luxury. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But now that I'm older and I have my own family, I'm like, dude. I mean, I make extreme, like, I couldn't even tell you how much more money I make than what my mom was making. And even now, when I go to pay for things for my 2 kids, I'm like, how the hell did my mom do that? You know what I'm saying? And so when we're talking about my mom, dude, like, she was literally everything.
She was your why.
She was my why. She was everything that I hoped to become. Like, I think that I'm pretty lucky that, I had a mother and a father in one person.
That's awesome.
And as a kid, dude, there were some things like, with sports, for example, when I was getting recruited to play football at these different colleges, you go on these recruiting trips, right? And these recruiting trips, they consist of, you go and meet the coaches. There are other recruits there with their parents. And you basically, you're trying to sell yourself to the coaches on why you should be recruited.
You're like flirting with the coaches.
No, seriously, pretty much, bro. Like, you when you go to give them a handshake, you're shaking them even harder, showing them your grip. When they go to tap you on the back, you kind of flex your back. Like, that's what you're doing at these recruiting trips, bro. And one thing about when I was a kid, and this is like, for me, I feel like, looking back at it, I'm like, I was kind of a piece of shit, dude, because I was embarrassed to go to these recruiting trips because all these other athletes, they were there with their dads. It's like a father and a son type of activity.
Yeah.
And I was there with my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like there were times, bro, where I would ask my mom. And this is why I say, like, I feel like I'm such a piece of shit, dude. Or I used to be. Is I would ask my mom, like, can one of my brothers come with me? Pretend to be my dad? And my mom would still come.
Yeah.
And so little things like that, I didn't appreciate at the time. You know what I'm saying? And that not only has my mom become my why, but instances like that have taught me to appreciate things that sometimes go unappreciated by most people.
Dude, that's powerful, bro.
Yeah. Like, and again, I think that's why my purpose and my objective in life became time, right? Because in reality, you don't realize the time you have.
Like, you don't have time.
Yeah. And like, they always talk about this now, but like, I remember my brother, he was talking about, my oldest brother. He was talking about, so after everything happened with my mom, we were going through her room, and my brother happened to pick up a letter. And it was a letter that my mom wrote to her dad when he passed. Or not when he passed. It was like the year that he passed. So my grandpa died when he was 75. And so for my grandpa's 75th birthday, my mom wrote this letter. You know, just, I don't even know what it said. But for my brothers and I, we all agree that, man, life's kind of unfair. You know, because she passed away when she was 52. Young.
It was with cancer.
Yep. She passed away from stage 4 breast cancer. And so things like that, right? Where it's like something as little as writing a happy birthday letter. Those are things that can be looked at as, like, you can be unappreciative of a birthday letter. But the meaning of the birthday letter, the fact that we don't get to write my mom a 75-year-old birthday letter, it's a big thing once you don't have it. You know what I'm saying? And so and I don't mean to get all like sad and shit like that, but like I think that's like mentally it helps transition into figuring out your why. And this is why I say that, because because I feel like the biggest difference between the 99, like everyone talks about the 1%, right? The 1% of the world, the 1% of athletes, the 1% of entrepreneurs, right? Of celebrities. I'm talking about A-list celebrities. Everyone wants to be a part of the 1%, but
the people that actually make a huge difference, right, and they're freaking remembered.
An impact, yeah. Right. No one knows the difference between the 1% and the 99%, or I don't even think people even care to know the difference. But I've studied it. The difference between the 99% and the 1%, and this is the reason why I'm talking about my mom the way I am, is because I think the 1%, because everyone has hard days. If you're a part of the 1%, the 2%, whatever,
you're going to get something.
You're going to wake up on the wrong side of the bed every now and then. What separates the 1% versus the 99% is when shit gets tough, the 1%, they resort back to their purpose, their reason, and their why. The 99%, they resort back to their emotions, their how I feel. They wake up on the wrong side of the bed. I don't feel like going to the gym today. They wake up and they get in an argument with their spouse or their partner, and I don't feel like going to work. I'm going to call off. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the difference, and that's why I believe mentally it's so important to have clarity in your reason and your purpose and your why and your objectives.
I love what you're talking about, bro, because I think this thing is huge, because I feel like at the end of the day, because, dude, most people that I know that I look up to and stuff, and a lot of my friends that are like really successful entrepreneurs, the only thing that they have in common is that they just do it. Whoever does it the longest, don't quit. Like,
that's all it is.
Like, that's literally it.
That's all it is.
They're not smart dudes. Like, no. They're like drop out of college. Most of them like drop out of high school and stuff. But they just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And there's something that drives them. There's something that fuels them. And there's a bunch of stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be like one thing. You know, I have like a lot of negative energy and a lot of positive energy that I turn that into fuel. Yeah. But I think what we're talking about, even though it's like something so simple and basic, like I think is the key. But it's just because most people they want a secret or the secret from like, bro, there's not.
Yeah.
Like it's literally basic stuff of what we're talking about right now.
No, 100%.
And when did you because you were saying when you were younger you were not appreciating the example that you had, and I can totally relate because I feel the same way with my mom. But when did it was like, I'm pretty sure it was a process, but when did you like start changing and you were like, you know what, dude, I want to win for her? When did your mom became your why, and you started like working harder or like getting your craft figured out? When did that happen?
That's when I was a little bit older. I was playing at the
Were
University
you
of
20?
Utah. I was.
How old were you?
21.
21? Okay.
And I was playing football at the University of Utah. It's when I just returned home from the mission that I was serving for my church. And I was a little bit more mature. And one thing about my mom, dude, is it didn't matter what I called her for. She'd always pick up. Always. It didn't matter if she was in the middle of a meeting. Like, I remember walking into my mom's office when she was working at a school. She was a superintendent at a school. And I walk in, and all the ladies that worked there, the board, they were all there. And I walked in to go visit my mom at work, and they said, hey, you're the kid that your mom walked out of our board meeting for to answer the phone. Yeah. And I think I had called her for like, if I can go hang out with my friends. The stupidest thing. But my mom always answered. And
that's crazy.
And when she answered, it didn't matter if it was a good thing or a bad thing. My mom always told me at the end of the phone call how proud she was of me. That's something that I never heard from my dad. So hearing it from her was like the best feeling ever. And I had remembered when I was playing football at the University of Utah. I had a couple injuries and return back for fall camp. And before you leave for fall break, you have one-on-one interviews with your position coach. And I remember my name was called. I sat in the office with my linebackers coach. That's what I played in college. And I remember sitting there, and he basically told me, going into fall camp, we're allotted this many slots for players. We have to cap it out at a certain amount.
Yeah.
Because right after fall camp is when the season starts. Mm-hmm. He said, unfortunately, there isn't a slot open for you this year. However, you're the first on the reserve list. So if somebody gets hurt or if somebody isn't eligible for grades, you're the person we're going to call. And I feel like that was a nice way of saying, like, you've been cut.
Like, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
And that's hard, yeah.
Oh, dude, it's like everything that I did.
It's like a slap in the face.
Dude, everything I did, like, I couldn't conceive anything else in my life other than playing football. Everything I did, everything I listened to.
It's like your whole purpose was taken away from you.
Everything I ate, that's all I knew. Everything I did was geared towards football. And in literally a snap of a finger, it was taken away. So at the lowest point of my life, I call my mom. And I basically tell her what my coach just said. And she said, I'm proud of you that he's going to call you. That's just how my mom was. She had the ability to look adversity in its face.
And smile.
And handle it. Smile. Make anybody feel like it's going to be okay.
Dude, that's such a powerful skill to have, bro.
Dude,
that's awesome.
And again, it was something that I didn't appreciate until that point. Right? And she literally told me. And so, for me, it's God, depending on whatever other people believe in. For me, it's God. And my mom did a very good job at raising us to know that each and every one of us in the eyes of God is special, and that we were given unique abilities to impact other people. That's how we were raised, right? And so for me, growing up, my whole life, I thought my abilities were athletics. I thought from my athletic abilities, I was going to be able to change the world. I was going to be able to impact others, and I was going to be able to financially provide for my family. Yeah. And when that had happened, when I got cut, my mom just reminded me of that she told me I had to self-assess myself and reevaluate myself and figure out, okay, if that's not the abilities that I was blessed with, I need to refocus and identify what the abilities were. And that's why I say something so detrimental became the biggest blessing, because it had allowed me to dream for a second time. But this time for myself. Right? Because now looking back at it from my dad and my brothers, I feel like playing football in the NFL, I feel like that was a dream that was just adopted by somebody else. Right? Because once I was able to take a step back and identify what it is that I was truly passionate about. It wasn't athletics. It was helping people. And that's why I got into entrepreneurship. And again, I credit it all to my mom.
Dude, there's so much value in the story that you're talking about, because I truly believe that when you have like one person that truly believes in you, bro, and wants to help you out, and sometimes it's a close relative like your parents or your brother or your mom in this case, like there is so much power on that, on just that somebody's like, hey dude, you'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I believe in you. Like, dude, it means the world. Like, when I think about my life, like, I don't know if I've told you, but like I almost committed suicide in 2017, and in my case was God, because he made me feel that he believed in me. And now for my 23 years has been my mom. Because every time I talk to her, she's like, hey, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And my drive is like, I want to win for her. I don't even want to win for myself. I want to win for her.
Yeah.
So how was that for you, dude? Because I'm pretty sure at some point you were like, Mom, I got you now. Everything that you did for me now is it has paid off. How was that feeling? Because I think that's like literally the biggest flex that you can have.
It was huge, dude. Like, that was like, for me, I have a huge bucket list of things I want to do in my life. And one of them was to gift my mom her dream car. And I was able to do that.
Is that the one you have on Instagram and like the pinned on your...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Mercedes?
Yeah, the Mercedes,
okay.
Yeah. That was her dream car, dude. And like, you know, the feeling is good, because it is true what you're saying, that the people I wanted to win for was everyone besides myself. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, it's a good feeling, but it's something that, again, you don't really attack aggressively until you've aligned what your goals and your reason and your why and your purposes.
Yeah. Until you have a good foundation with those things. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but again, like you said, that was my driving factor. That everything that I did was for her. I wanted to give her the world plus one more. Like that was everything.
When was your mom diagnosed with cancer?
So she was diagnosed with cancer in 2000 and I want to say 2014, and then she beat it.
Really?
Yeah, she beat it in 2017.
How old were you in 2014? 15?
2000 and.
You're like, I'm not good with math.
2015, I was 17 years old.
Okay. She beat it, and then when did it come back again?
In 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. When it came back, they basically found a tumor that they had missed. Oh, and I remember I was in California at the time, and I flew, like we drove to California, and I got the news while I was in California.
Were you by yourself or?
No, I was with my wife.
Okay.
And we like flew back, dude. Like we drove that drive so fast. And she was given a year.
Really?
To live. And then 5 years later, she passed. And so she was, like I keep saying, dude, she was a woman that defied all odds.
Bro, you know what? I'm going to go off on this thing because it pisses me off. Like, I see all these young kids that they're just messing around, hanging out with their friends. They're just, the most fulfilling thing going on in their lives is going to school and their girlfriend or boyfriend. Yeah. I'm like, bro, freaking, they got to realize that you don't have time, bro. Like, there's so many people that have done so much for them in their lives that you cannot afford just wasting time.
Yeah.
For me, and this is why I'm just so passionate about the word urgency, because I truly mean that. Because, like, it's an insult to the people that truly believe in you, the people that have done sacrifices for you to win. Yeah. And most people are just messing around.
That's true.
Like, people don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I've had, like, 3 near close deaths. How do you say death experiences? Like close calls? Yeah. Like, in the past few months, what I realized that, bro, like, that could have been it.
Yeah.
Like, I love what you're saying, bro, because it's so much value. I know it sounds, like, simple, but that's literally what it is. It's like the basic stuff.
Yeah.
The concept of time that is so freaking precious.
It is. Yeah.
Like, your family, your kids are never going to be... How old are they right now?
I have a 1-year-old and I have a one who's 6 months.
Like 1 and 6, they're never gonna be 1 and 6 again.
Yeah.
So it's like there's also urgency to like take advantage of who they are and enjoy that time.
It is.
It's so precious, dude. I don't know, but it pisses me off with young kids because they're just messing around, bro.
You know, it is. And there's this quote that I loved, and I had read it when I was just beginning like my entrepreneurship journey, and it was by Hippocrates, and he said, "Art is long, life is short."
Yeah.
And to me, the way, and I probably misinterpreted it, but the way that I interpret it is that the art of living is long. What that means is skillfulness, becoming a master at something, an expert at something. It's meant to take time.
Yeah.
That's why they say patience is a virtue. The problem is like the second part of the quote is life is short. So for me, everything that I was trying to do was trying to figure out how can I condense that time. Right? That's how I interpreted
like aggressive patience kind
that
of thing.
quote. Right. Well, dude, if you ask anybody who really knows me, they'll tell you I'm the most impatient person.
Oh, same. I agree.
And for me, they say time is a virtue or something like that. Like, I'm not here to take time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I have 100-year plan, and I'm attacking it aggressively. But it's because I know who's counting on me and who I'm doing it for. Quick story. So I have 2 dogs. They're like alpha dogs. They're like
you have like a pit bull and a.
I have a Rottweiler and an American Akita.
American Akita.
Yeah, and
is that the Akita is the Brazilian dog, right?
No, Japanese.
Japanese.
So I mean, these 2 dogs are big, aggressive. They try to dominate.
He's like you, but like a dog.
It really is. It really is. And for the longest time, I couldn't get them to get along.
Okay.
They would like fight each other till one of them like would be close to dying. And for me, it was a matter of, do I get rid of one or do I try to fix the problem?
Did you get them when they were like puppies and stuff?
Yeah. So, and this was a recent experience. I had a trainer come over to my house, a professional dog and horse trainer. She came over. I'd asked her to come over to my house to assess my dogs, see if there was something wrong with them. While she was going through the assessment, I asked them. This was probably a stupid question, but I asked her, which one would win in a fight? And she told me, she said, it depends what they're fighting for. I said, what do you mean?
Bro, that's good.
I was like, what do you mean? I said, if it's a dog fight, if they're just going at it, that dog will probably win. But if the fight is to protect,
I gotta write that down.
If the fight is to protect the people that it loves, then that dog's gonna win. And I said, why do you say that? And she said that dog will literally lay down his life for the people that it loves. And so I correlate that to life in general, right? And especially when it comes to entrepreneurship.
That's a good story, bro.
Your why is that important.
Yeah.
If let's use business and entrepreneurship as an example. If you're building businesses and your goal as an entrepreneur is to make money, you may get it. You may be successful. But you put that person against me, or my goal is to help people, to serve people, to love people, to care for them, to provide for my mom, my wife, I'll run circles around that other person.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And the reason why is because the people that I'm fighting for, like, I'll literally lay down my life for them. And so I think that was an interesting comment that this dog trainer had said, and unknowingly she had taught me a huge lesson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I believe having a why with a massive emotional attachment attached to it is important.
Yeah.
And money isn't a massive emotional attachment.
Dude, that's some powerful truths that you're talking about right now, because and I want to talk about it in the next one, because I truly believe you have both. I mean, as an entrepreneur, like, everything you're doing, it's like a freaking roller coaster. You go through so many things that you need like different whys in, like, your mom, your family, your daughter, your children, your wife, the people that don't believe in you. Like, you can use positive energy, which is like stuff like this, and also the negative energy. For me, my case, I'm fueled by both. sometimes I perform way better when it's from negative energy, because I can turn that into fuel. And like, I just love cutting people's throats with results. It's just like, it's the most fulfilling thing in the world. Most people don't talk about it because you sound like bad or like mean, but it's just the reality.
Yeah.
Have you been able to use that? Like the negative energy, like people that talk crap about you, like freaking go off on you, all this stuff.
So when I started, yes, when I started as an entrepreneur, it was like, and again, I wish it wasn't at first, but because of the competitive nature, and I think I still am guilty of it at times.
But I think it's a good thing. I don't know. I love it.
It is, but for me, just where I am at in my life right now and everything that's happened recently, I feel like whether it's negative or positive, right? I could have people that are praising me, telling me like, dude, you're awesome. You're killing it. Like, coach me, blah, blah, blah. Or I could have people talking crap, right? Like, and just to brief preface, I've never met a fake account. Okay, because usually those fake accounts are the trolls in your comments. Okay, because again, even if they saw me in person, those fake accounts don't talk. They don't say anything in person.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but what I started looking, because again, when I first started, because of the competitive nature that I had, the negative energy was my fuel.
What was the main thing? I mean, not the main thing, but like one of the things that fueled you, like the negative stuff.
People that didn't believe in me.
It's like close people, family, friends, just make fun of you.
Oh, dude, it was always the close friends and the family. Dude, I got totally shit on for buying a Lamborghini.
Really?
Bro, I wish I could have, I didn't do it, but I wish I would have posted my DMs that I got the week that I purchased a Lamborghini.
But dude, is it like the same thing that I was DMing you about the other day, that most people are like, oh, you gotta be humble and all this stuff?
Yeah, but also, so I come from a Polynesian background. And that's just not like Polynesians to do, which is the stupidest thing ever. But culturally, it's not sound. That's not what we do.
Like posting about it or buying stuff like that.
Buying stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Like Polynesians don't like that.
So they were like, "What? Like, who do you think you are, bro? Like,
you're wasting your money. You should be spending that money to take care of your family." Like, dude, I got so much crap from it, and that was my fuel. And so the next week I went and bought another exotic car. And like but this is why I had to change it, because for me, what I was doing is the results that I was pushing in their face weren't things that are important.
Material stuff.
Okay. I was buying Rolexes and iced out watches and stuff like, just to show people, these haters, that like, it doesn't matter what you say, I'm still gonna keep winning. That was my mentality.
But I think that's so freaking inspiring. I love it.
No, it is.
When I DM you, I'm like, bro, keep flexing, because I think it's the most inspiring thing ever.
But for me, like now where, I've done all that.
But I mean, not just materially. I think like in everything in life, spiritually, family. Like I love to see. I think it's so cool.
And I think because I've done all the flexing, I've done all the buying crazy things and the material things, I think the point that I'm at now is I feel like with people who give me the positive comment, the positive energy, the praising, like for me, it's like, thank you. Like that means a lot. I appreciate it. And then the negative comments is like, okay, that's just like.
I mean, what do you think about this? Because I feel like you're at a point that you're like more separated from those people, so you don't get a lot. You're more easy to control.
That's what I'm saying.
But when you're starting, you get freaking from everybody, because you're there with the crowd.
Yeah.
So I think for most people, like it's a good thing. Most people don't talk about it. But
it is a good thing.
Fuel is fuel.
It is.
Either negative or positive. You can turn it into fuel.
Yeah, and starting out, even for me too, you need fuel.
Like starting out, like I feel like this is the hardest one.
Yeah.
It
is for sure. But my point in saying that is, I feel like once you get to a certain point, or things start happening to the people that you love, you start looking at positive comments as like, I'm there to fill a void that they need to be filled.
Yeah.
And for the negative comments, it was like, okay, like cool. But if you get enough negative comments, then like maybe you should reevaluate yourself, and like you might be a piece of shit. but like one or two is like, okay, whatever, you're a hater.
I mean, I'm not saying that you gotta like be bitter about these people, but like if you ask me, bro, like I'm an aggressive, competitive. I don't forget anything.
Yeah,
I do forget people, but bro, if you say any little comment to me, like all my ex-girlfriends that cheat on me or like stuff, like I don't forget anything.
Yeah,
I have a list of every single person list. I swear that I said something in my face that made me feel less, with no value, all this stuff, because I'm like, bro, I want to win, and I know that in my case, bro, I moved here 2 years ago, and I've been able to do things that most people don't even do in a lifetime, you know, and I'm just getting started, you know.
That's true.
So he's like, I'm pushing through a lot of opposition. So he's like, I need positive, which is my God, my purpose, my mom, my brother, the people I want to help.
Yeah.
But also because I get a lot of opposition from young kids or like people. Like, I'm going to add you to my list and you're going to freaking regret it. Like,
Right.
honestly, bro,
Yeah.
you're going to freaking regret it because I'm not going to forget anything.
Yeah.
Like, every single girl, every single person that made me feel less about myself, bro, that looked at me in a way, whatever, you're going to regret it. And I'm not going to go, like, be in your face or be bitter about it. I'm going to show you that one day, and it's already happening, but one day you're going to see me and be like, crap, I wish I would have been nicer to that dude.
Yeah.
I wish I would have been so mean to that dude. And I'm not going to have to say anything.
Yeah.
But I'm going to shove it into your friggin' face and throat.
Yeah.
And that's how I do it. Because it's like, I mean, that's how I deal with negativity stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I'm young.
No, I like that.
At
No,
your
seriously.
age, you're going to get like more wise and more chill.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's the way I am.
Yeah.
And I feel like it has taken me really far in life.
Yeah.
And for some people, they're like, yeah, but Ben, I'm like, screw you, bro. Like, people are going to talk crap like your whole life to
Regardless.
you.
Yeah.
Regardless. So you got to learn how to deal with
Yep.
it. You know, either you get sad or, oh, poor me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, Ben, I'll prove you.
Yeah.
You're going to regret it.
Yeah.
I have like, I mean, I can tell you, I don't want to like talk about it. He's already got in problems with somebody that heard about this stuff because I was talking about them. But I had a lot of people, bro, that they were like making fun of me when I started, like, oh, dude, like, you're selling drugs, man, blah, blah. And now they ask me for free stuff or like, they see me like speaking in like the right now.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, they were just like, oh, who do you think you are? Like all this stuff. I'm like, okay, bro.
Yeah.
Bet against me. You're going to freaking regret it, bro.
And dude, I think that's a great mentality to have. I have that mentality as well. But what you said is true where when you're just getting started,
you need that, dude.
That's when people like, when you start to rise up above everybody,
like they're trying to pull you down, bro.
Exactly. But once you get to a certain height, they're just like, okay, they start to give credit.
I mean, the thing is, once the result starts showing up, they're
Exactly.
like, oh crap, okay, he was right. He was right.
Yeah.
And even though they can still be envious about it or like jealous,
Yeah.
but like you're undeniable.
Yeah.
You become undeniable. That the only thing they have to do is just like, okay, you're right.
The thing about it that at least helped me with all that, because I still get a lot of that till this day.
But from who? Like social media?
Social media.
That's the main thing that comes. Okay.
No one's ever said anything negative to me in my face.
They don't have the balls, bro. Most people. That's why they do it through
But like,
social media.
that's what I'm saying. Like these fake accounts, these trolls that they like. I've never met a fake account before.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so the one thing that had helped me was, one, like, no one's ever said anything like that to me in person. Number two is it's the big dogs. It's the heavy hitters, the big players. They don't care about what you're saying. They don't even care about what I'm saying. They don't care about what I'm doing. Like, they got way bigger things to be worrying about.
They actually, some of them, they actually want to help you win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I'm aspiring and modeling to be like those big players, like, for me, then I need to disassociate myself with the noise.
Yeah.
Right? And so, even though, again, I think as humans, the negative comments will always affect us.
Yeah.
But again, like, I mean, there's so many people on Twitter right now talking crap about Elon Musk and the things that he's making, like the changes that he's making.
He's like worth billions and billions of dollars.
Elon isn't listening to nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're talking about Twitter versus Instagram threads. Both of those guys aren't listening to everybody's 2 cents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I'm saying is, well, I think, and I'm not even at their level, so like not even close. But like,
you'll get there,
I feel like I hope so. But once you get to a certain level, I feel like positive comments is like, okay, I'm filling a void for them that they need to be filled.
Yeah.
Negative comments is like, okay, whatever.
It's like even like their reflection upon you, like
Exactly.
what they think of themselves.
Because really, the hate that you're gonna get, the negative energy that you're gonna get, it's always coming from underneath you.
Do you think a lot of people don't even start the journey of entrepreneurship or jumping a business or just like becoming an athlete or whatever because of that, the negative stuff that they face?
100%.
Do you think that's a huge
100%.
one?
I think it's scary. Not because of the risk that you're taking, but because of the people that you're gonna.
Because most people don't believe in themselves. They're not gonna chase their
Right.
dreams. They're just like they go in the systems, be like everybody else, be
Yeah,
average.
yeah. And so
Don't
it's
stand
like,
out, be there. You know.
exactly. People don't want to stand out. People don't want to like. People don't want to disassociate themselves with their crowd.
Yeah.
And to be a part of the 1%, or to be even an entrepreneur, dude, I think the weirdest people in this world are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
100%.
And I feel like they are the ones that actually struggle the most.
100%.
Yeah.
But like, dude, I remember when I first started like wanting to be an entrepreneur, I would go to like all my family events and I would talk to them about my ideas and my plans, and they would just laugh. They would make fun of me. They're like, dude, what are you thinking? Go and get a job. Right? Entrepreneurs are weird.
Okay, but why you didn't do it? Like why you didn't follow that path? Because statistically, you're the exception.
Because
even with culture-wise.
Because when I got in the room with entrepreneurs, in a room full of weirdos, I felt normal.
You feel like you're not the only one.
Exactly. Because
that's safe, bro.
Because I feel like entrepreneurs, they feel, and I feel like the reason why they're weird is because, one, they feel like they're an exception to society.
Yeah.
Right? Society says go to school. Society says go get a 9-to-5. Society says get a corporate job and wear a suit and tie to work. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that stuff. Right? It's just not for me. And so that's why I think entrepreneurs are weird, because they feel like they could push back against the grain. They don't have to do what society expects. And number two, one thing about entrepreneurs that are successful, okay, that's the key. Entrepreneurs that are successful, they have this weird obsession with wanting to change the world. They feel like them as an individual can change the world. That's why I think those two factors.
Bro, I love what you're talking about, because I'm like, that's what I think every single day.
And those two factors is what make entrepreneurs weird. But I believe that entrepreneurs they are the foundation of our current economy.
Bro, they're the ones that change stuff. Not even politicians. Right. Like, it's entrepreneurs because they own the stuff.
Right.
You know?
They provide the jobs.
Exactly. They provide the culture to the company.
The most taxes. Right. Yeah. Like, and so for me, that's why I believe, although we could be weird, it's a good weird. Yeah. Right? Because we have good intentions.
Yeah.
But successful entrepreneurs, right? Because there are a lot of other entrepreneurs.
There's a lot of
There's a lot of entrepreneurs that think every time you open up a new Instagram account that you own a new business. No. You don't need to have 25 Instagram accounts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about successful entrepreneurs.
Right? There's a lot of people that play the business entrepreneurship game.
Yeah.
That they think that, yeah.
Don't even get me started on that,
Let's
bro.
get it started. I want to talk about
my brother, he owns a really successful business, and he calls it real versus reels.
Real
versus reels, like Instagram reels.
Oh, yeah.
He was like saying that there's people who do it for real, and there's people who do it for the reels.
That's a good one.
The views, the likes, the comments.
But
right?
honestly, there's a lot of people like that out
because
there.
Because you'll see some people that are editing their videos and making them sound all cool and putting up the captions, but then you go look up.
Their lives are miserable. They're full of crap.
Miserable.
They haven't created anything.
Exactly. And so that's why for me, and I've never talked about this on a podcast before. For me, I think Instagram. I think Instagram's a really good tool, but I think it could also be.
Bro, it has destroyed this young generation.
Exactly, because advice, how you take advice, and who you take advice from, like the source, can either push you up 10 years or knock you back 10 years.
I agree.
Right, because if you're getting advice from someone like, for example, if I were to hire, since you're into fitness, if I were to hire a personal trainer, but their physique, like maybe wasn't the physique that I was looking for, why would I hire that person?
I agree 100%. Like, if they don't have the results that you want to have, why would you even associate with
results?
them?
Right. Yeah. Results is everything. And I feel like when I worked at Vivint, they had this saying, even a parrot can talk.
Yeah. You posted about this like this week or something.
Yeah. And that's what social media has allowed people to do.
Yeah. Bro, you have freaking OnlyFans girls talking about, like, they're giving you advice about life and all this stuff.
Right.
Like, it doesn't make
again, like, OnlyFans is fine. Like, do your thing, right?
But it doesn't make any sense. Like, all these porn stars talking to you about, like, how to live life. Like, bro, what are you talking about?
My thing is stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Gotta stay in your lane, right? and this is the reason why. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not knocking any hustles, right? Like, I'm an advocate of doing what you want to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. However, when you start to wander off into away from your lane and into other people's lanes, and you're not an expert in that lane, and you try to help people that are in that lane, now you're doing them a disservice.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're charging for that service, now you're a fraud. You're a scammer.
There's too much information out there.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. And so for me, and you could probably relate, growing up as an athlete, everything that I wanted to do, I wanted to be the best at.
Yeah.
But have you ever wondered, why do you want to be the best?
For me, it's because I have role models. It's the people that I look up to. I want to be like them and create the same impact that they've created.
Right. And so most people don't have an answer for that. I didn't have an answer for that for the longest time. For me, it was like, I want to be the best, like when I was doing door-to-door. I want to be the best sales rep. But then someone was like, why? I'm like, shit, I don't really know. Right? Like, I want to be yeah, it's always to make money.
Yeah.
But like for me, then I had to ask myself, like, well, is that a good enough reason?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You need a purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for me, I finally come up with the answer of why I want to be the best. And the answer is, I want to be the best because that allows me to have credibility.
Yeah.
And allows me to be qualified to help others.
Yeah.
And I may be the best in this industry, the X industry, but if I go and try to be the best in another industry and I'm not, and I'm trying to help people, am I in the position to be fully helping those people?
But dude, you said he's not like bashing people or whatever, but he's like, it's a real thing. You have like in the Instagram, you have like coaches that they sell courses on how to coach people, and their business is coaching.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what the hell have you built? Like, where's your product? Where's your culture? Where's your team?
Yeah.
Like, where's your office?
That's true. Where's your results?
Where's the thing?
Yeah.
So how are you going to teach me how to coach somebody when your business is made of coaching? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
See, but because you're an entrepreneur, you can see it from that perspective.
Yeah, but a lot of these young kids, they're like, I want to make money, I want to jump, and they go to social media, and because you have so much information, they get with the wrong mentors or the wrong coaches. What I'm saying. Yeah,
it's because those young kids, the people that are getting access to all this information, they don't see it from the perspective we see it at. Because, right, you and I would ask those questions. Hey, if you're wanting to coach me in this, let me see some results.
Now, what have you done? But I think it's common sense. Do you have to
not.
be like really?
It's not.
Well, it's common sense for me, but I'm
it
like,
is.
you have to be really dumb.
You would think so, right? But like, I personally know a guy. He's one of my competitors, and he pitches a credit repair program.
Like the same thing that you do?
Yeah, he's one of my competitors.
Okay.
And I met him in person, and I told him, here's my credit score. Can you show me yours? He refused to show me his credit score. Refused. I said, bro, I'm showing you mine. And to me, what that shows is if you're not confident in your credit score, why are you selling credit repair? Right? Or if you're not physically in shape, why are you trying to be an online personal trainer?
Bro, I go to the gym and I see like the coaches and stuff, and they're all out of shape. And I'm
but
like, how does that make any
that's
sense?
what I'm saying is those people aren't going to properly serve others. Because if they can't apply it in their lives, how are they going to have somebody else apply it in theirs?
No, I agree. I feel like you're speaking facts, and they scam a lot of people for money and stuff like that, and they never deliver real results.
And it ruins it for the rest of the entrepreneurs that are actually doing things right.
That is true.
Right. And so I can talk hours about that because there are a lot of people that
I feel like in your space, it's a lot with like e-com and stuff like that. Like it's huge. Yeah.
It's huge. And again, like there's such a negative connotation when it comes to e-commerce, or
because there's like a scam
when someone says the word Amazon FBA.
Yeah.
Right. But like the reason why is because there are people who took a good business model or a good idea, twisted it, made it about money, and ruined it.
They didn't have the results. They promised things they couldn't deliver. And
right. And so, yeah, dude, there's a lot of things that just everyone remember. Real versus reals.
Yeah.
That's a quote from my brother.
I like it, dude. That's sick. I have a question for you because what we were talking before with why most people, they never get started and everything because of like the negativity. What would you say to like let's say like a 16, 18-year-old kid that has an idea, feels like he's not as everybody else, but he just doesn't have the balls to actually do it? Because of like what my mommy's saying, what my daddy's saying, what my brother's, what would you say to them? what would be like an advice for you to them to actually get it started?
So if they didn't have the balls because of what other people were saying, that's one thing. If they didn't have the balls because they were scared that it was too big of a risk, that's another thing.
Okay, explain that.
So, like, for example, if we're talking about a 16 or a 17-year-old, right? And clearly those age groups don't really have access to a lot of money to start something. Okay? So that's the risk, right? Is there the money that they do have in this example, hypothetically, they would be spending all their money in starting up this new idea that they have. Okay. Whether it be $500, whether it be $5,000, whatever. Okay. That's the first thing that that would stop most people from jumping into an idea.
Just the risk financially.
Lack of resources. Okay. And then the second thing, like you mentioned, the negative comments and the people that are saying, no, don't do that, go do this. Those are the two things that typically, from my experience, what I've seen stop people from going after their dreams. Number one, I would tell that person or that kid, I mean, it's simple. Don't listen to the outside, because the way the world is now versus the way the world was when our parents were our age, it's completely different.
Yeah.
There are more millionaires being made in our generation than there were in their generation.
And you have way more resources in how to get there. Yeah.
Exactly. And back then, you could get away with being a hustler.
Yeah.
Back then it was about who could dig the biggest, deepest hole. If you could work the hardest, you're going to get paid. Nowadays, it's not about that.
Yeah.
Working hard is one thing, but it's your network. It's your ability to make decisions quickly. It's your ability to hire the right people or the right team. Your ability to build a culture. How organized are you?
The mental skills you're developing.
Back then, it wasn't like that. So I would tell them, before you take advice from someone, maybe take advice from someone in this generation that's actually doing it versus taking advice from someone in the older generation. And the reason why I say that is because my dad, for example, he still believes to this day that I should go and work at a 9-to-5 job.
Really?
Yes.
Even with the results you got?
Yeah, but it's just the way that where he comes from. That's just, he's so old school that's just what you're supposed to do.
Dude, I agree. My dad always tells me.
That's what I'm saying.
Go to school if not, you're never gonna be anything.
That's what I'm saying. And so, but again, you can't really blame them or say that they're dumb.
Because that's what they know.
Because that's exactly.
Yeah.
That in their times, that's what worked. Nowadays, like, I can look up on YouTube what exactly a professor is teaching in every subject in school.
Yeah. For
free, rather than paying $20,000 for your tuition. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you can learn from, like, I would rather pay you $25,000 instead of, like, giving to school, because I would get more value that I can actually apply.
Right. And so in this example of a 16 or 17-year-old kid looking to get an answer on whether or not he should chase his dreams or not, I would tell them first, times back then are not like times like now. So if your parents are telling you don't do it, reevaluate the times. And number two, as far as not having enough capital or resources to jump into it, my answer would be, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners, they frown or talk down on working a 9-to-5 job.
Like, it's a good vehicle.
Oh, 100%. Dude, I've worked every 9-to-5 job. I've worked every commission-based job.
Yeah.
I would recommend someone who's 16 or 17 years old, go get a job. Go get a job, whatever extra money you have, throw it into this idea of yours. Go all in. You know what I'm saying? That would be my recommendation. You'll never catch me talking down on people who work a 9-to-5, because, like you said, it's a good vehicle.
Yeah.
It teaches you not only how to work, but it teaches you how to look at things from an employee perspective.
I agree.
For me, being an employee, my whole life, all the way up until I started to do sales, like, it taught me how to look at things not only as an employee, but as a business owner.
Because you're not born with all the skills, like sales skills and stuff like that. You need a way, like, experience on how to develop them.
Bro,
so if you don't jump into a system on how to develop the skills, like how you're going to start a business if you don't have the skills.
Exactly.
You need a vehicle to acquire the skills.
100%. You know? And you hit that right on. And sales for me was never a thing that I thought I would get into.
Like, I feel like I don't see sales. There's a lot of people that are like, sales is not for me. I'm like, bro, sales is a lifestyle. You're selling yourself to girls, to dudes, to your friends.
Exactly.
To get everything. Like, everything is
sales.
depending on how you do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And for me, being an athlete, I never thought that I would get into a job
Like as an athlete, you're selling yourself to the coach.
Yeah,
just
see, but I never thought that. I never thought that way. Sales to me I was terrified to do sales. Dude, believe it or not, like, so I have a speech impediment.
Really?
Yeah. I have a horrible stuttering problem. Like I stutter like crazy, dude. And like if you rewatch
you can't even tell it.
If you rewatch this, you'll be able to tell. But it's typically when I get nervous.
Yeah.
I've learned over the years how to.
Wait, do I make you nervous?
No, you don't. Make me nervous, actually, a little bit. No. But I've learned over the years the words and the sounds that I have a hard time with.
Yeah.
And so as I'm talking, if I can anticipate that sound or those words coming up, I'll hurry up and replace it with the word that I can say.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, so it's a lot of thinking. But anyways, my point is because of the problem that I had ever since I was a kid, sales was never like an occupation where my main tool is my voice. I would never think that I would be.
Bro, I can relate. I got into public speaking, and English is not my first language.
Yeah,
like, I had to
serious.
force myself to like actually open my mouth and make people understand me. Because in the beginning, I would get like freaked out when I would meet somebody new.
You know how it is.
Yeah, it would scare the crap out of me. But I put myself in those scenarios so I can force myself to get better.
And that's what it's about.
You know,
right? I think I talked about this at the event. Tony Robbins calls it the threshold of control.
Yeah.
Forcing yourself into uncomfortable situations.
Like, I feel like that's the only way to actually develop the skills because you're not born with those stuff. You know?
Yeah.
At least not me. I don't know about you. But
and I think that's a huge thing that I don't want to just brush over. What you said is huge, is forcing yourself to do something like that. I believe that when you want to get to the next level, you have to rid yourself.
You gotta what?
You gotta rid yourself of,
like force yourself together kind of thing.
No. You gotta unbecome the person
okay.
You gotta unbecome the person
the
that you.
Barrier here.
No, you're good. So, and what I always say is, when you want to get to the next level, the next level requires your old self. Okay, you have to rid yourself of your old self. Okay, and what I mean by that is you have to unbecome the person that you are in order to become the person that you're supposed to be.
I like it.
And I really do believe that. And I feel like the only way that you can do that is by putting yourself in a place of uncertainty, a place that you think you're not worthy to be in. Okay. One of my mentors,
he's speaking facts right now.
So one of my mentors, he taught me that the most common attribute that all successful people have is their ability to operate in chaos.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason why is because operating in chaos, if you can stand firm in chaos, stand firm. If you can stand firm in chaos and stress and frustration and get past it, you've now just unbecome your old self and became your new self. Ed Milet says that on the other side of opposition, you'll find your new self.
And dude, not just that, but like if you can keep getting better on tough times, imagine how much you can do in good times. And that's why I always preach about this. And even like with the people I talk to in my social media and everything, I'm like, bro, make your life harder. Yeah. And people are like, why would I make one? Bro, because life is already hard.
Yeah.
And if you can thrive in hell, in pain, in opposition, you're going to be unbeatable.
Yeah.
That's why I love pain. I do a lot of extreme stuff physically so I can develop the mental skills. So when it's tough and if you're competing against me, I'm like, bro, my tolerance for pain and being uncomfortable, it's just like I'm just gonna push through because that's where I thrive. I've trained myself in those scenarios. I force myself to push through when I don't want to.
See, but like what you're saying is what I've learned is the most common trait in all successful people. Like that's right, and everyone, I feel like.
But again, it's like common sense at this point. I don't know.
For some people. But when they hear you explain it like that, it's like, yeah, I feel the same way. But if you break it down psychologically, okay, I always say that when you set a goal, goals aren't always meant to be obtained or achieved.
They shouldn't.
Right? goals are meant for you to put yourself in a place of uncertainty, so that you can experience something that demands more than what you think you're worth. Okay, because I believe if you think you're worth $100,000, you'll always get your standard. You'll always get $100,000, even if you hit big and you make maybe $200,000. If your standard's $100,000, because of the habits that you have, you will then come back to $100,000. Okay? In order for you to go to the next level, you have to put yourself in a place that demands more.
You like raise your standards at the end of the day.
You have to raise your standards, but so like for me, before, like if I wanted to go out and make $1 million,
yeah,
people who make $1 million, they're playing on a different playing field than people who make six figures.
Yeah.
Because with six figures, you can go out and make six figures purely off of work ethic. When we're talking about 7 or 8 or 9 figures, you cannot hit those numbers. I mean, maybe you can with like low 7 figures, but it's very, very difficult to hit those numbers based off of work ethic. You have to start knowing the right people. You have to have more resources. You have to start thinking a little bit different. You have to make decisions a lot faster. It becomes less about work ethic and more about decisions, right? And so for me, I always say you get what your standards are. Okay, and so for me,
well, repeat that again. That's a good one.
You always get what your standards are.
I love that, dude.
And for me, it's always about how do I raise my standards? And the answer is, if you want to raise your standards, you need to put yourself in a position that demands more of you than what you think you're worth. Does that make sense? So, for example,
that's a powerful.
I've sat in rooms where I had no business being in those rooms. I mean, I had people talking about, hey guys, should we go out and rent the blue yacht, or should I just take my red yacht? I'm like, wow, what crazy problems these guys have. But I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I think the red one, dude. Right? Because I'm in an uncomfortable room, dude. I'm in rooms with people talking about jets. I'm in rooms with people talking about, hey, should we go?
You wanting to buy a jet though?
I would love to.
That's sick.
I'm in rooms about people talking about, hey, let's take our whole family on a vacation and the budget's going to be $200K.
You're like, I want to have those problems, dude.
Right. And for me, I'm like sitting there looking cool. Like, yeah, dude, I do that all the time. But really, I don't. Yeah. Right. And so for me, being in those types of rooms, I'm putting myself in a place that demands more of me than what I actually think I'm worth.
You know what? I love that you mentioned in the beginning that you get to that point with decision skills and everything, but the first step is work ethic. Because if you don't become a valuable person, you will never have the permission to get into those rooms.
Right.
You got to make something out of yourself. It's not like, oh, just surround yourself with like millionaires and you're gonna be like, dude, you got to become valuable. Like, why would we have you around? Like, what have you done in order to be here?
Yep.
Like, what you got to earn it. You know.
Yep. They always say the universe pays you what it thinks you're worth.
Yeah. Do you believe in like energy and universal and stuff?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't really. However, okay. Let me back up.
I'm pretty sure you do, bro. You talked about money. I wanted to talk about because I feel like the same way. Like
I believe that I don't know. Some people call it universe. Some people call it God.
I feel like it's the same thing. I feel like God He created the universe. And he's also created laws to like systems to the universe and us to be in and everything that influences like the law of attraction, visualization, manifestation.
I agree with that.
But it come from God. Like it's not that it's just its own thing.
But
you know?
Yeah, I do agree with that. So I do believe that based off of the value that you could provide to the world will determine what the world pays you.
Like for example, you said about money. If you have if I say money and it brings you a bad feeling, you will keep attracting that.
Right.
So you got to change your mentality. Be like, money, dude, money's easy to get. It's not hard to get. Yeah. Save, because if you start saving, you're telling God in the universe, dude, money's hard to get. That's why I have to save it.
That's true.
Therefore, you're going to keep attracting more. So I think it's like, I think it's a spiritual thing.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, like it's all energy, vibration. I don't know. Do you visualize and stuff like that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
How do you do it? Because I'm really into it. I think it's changed my life and how I view things and everything.
So when define visualize.
Like I already know the car I want to drive, the lifestyle I want to have, my family.
So manifestation.
Yeah.
That's
like I have to see it first before it turns into reality.
That's everything to me. And you're right. They say if you want to seize it, you have to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever you can see can be built.
Like, I truly believe that we're like magnets.
Yeah.
And you attract that
No,
either a
I
positive
agree.
thing or negative things.
100% agree. And I've seen it. Like I'm a testament of it. Like
I'm visualizing that you're gonna give me your truck, and I know it's there. It's pretty. It's pretty
no, seriously though. But like when like I'm, as you know, I'm a big advocate in creating dream boards and vision boards.
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate in that.
Same.
And me and my family, we do that every year for New Year's. We create.
So it came from a family thing.
We create vision boards. Yeah.
Okay.
And
it came from your mom or from who?
No. I'm talking about like my married family, like me and my wife.
Oh, now okay.
Yeah.
But it started with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We create vision boards.
Okay.
But then we also create reality boards, and I feel like this is the key. And a lot of people they overlook this part. Okay, and I always use the example of a GPS. Yeah. Right? You've heard me say this.
Yeah, I've heard you say.
Right? It's like if you were to type in a destination but then turn off your location on your phone, your GPS won't function. It doesn't work. Right? And so that's kind of the reason why we've come up with the vision board and the reality board. Right? Is in order for you to have an idea of where you're going, you have to be super, super clear on where it is that you're currently at.
But you don't stay there though, right?
No.
At the end of the day, you got to know where you're going to start. Like, for example, if you're dead broke, you're like, I want to make 6 figures. Oh, but I'm broke. And if you stay in the broke, you're never going to
exactly. So that's the purpose of the vision board and the reality board.
Okay.
Is you need to have that hard conversation with yourself at times.
I agree.
And so like, for example, every year, my reality board consists of the same thing, just different numbers, right? So it's a screenshot of my bank account. It's a picture of what house we live in, what kind of cars we're driving, right? Like what vacations I've taken my family on, right? That's what my reality board looks like. And then my vision board is what kind of house do I want to live in? What house do I want? What car do I want to drive? What type of vacation do we want to go on? And they always get bigger and bigger, right? But the purpose of that is now you have a clear idea of where you're at. Yeah. You have a clear idea of where you want to go. Now it's not a question about, okay, how do I make this happen? It's just about, okay, what's the next step? How do I bridge the gap between the vision board and the reality board?
Yeah.
And I believe that comes from manifestation, because you talk about, you have a clear idea about the type of car you want to drive and the type of house you want to live in. So do I. And I have that down detailed into like the color of my walls.
Like every morning I visualize it, like every single day, night, like it's so ingrained in me. And this is the cool thing, is that like I've learned about this, that your brain doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
So the thing that I've learned is that it's not your thoughts, but it's how those thoughts make you feel. And if that's a positive or negative thing, that's what you attract. Mm-hmm. So I'm at a point that I'm like, yeah, I love my life and everything, but I know that I deserve more. I've earned more. I expect more, because like it's so ingrained in me, because I put it in my brain so much, and now my brain, what it does is just filters through the information that I do, like receive during the day, just to align to the things that I want. Yeah. And I just see that. Yeah. You know?
No, that's true.
And then my brain figured out ways on how to get there automatically. Yeah. Because it's ingrained here.
That's true.
And that's where the magic happens, and the creativity and all this stuff.
Yeah. No, dude, I always say your imagination is your most powerful tool.
Yeah.
Right. And an example of this, my wife and I, like I mentioned earlier, we just barely finished building a house. Like fully custom.
Where at?
Over by the lake, over by Utah Lake.
Utah Lake. Okay.
Yeah, and we just barely finished the house.
Are you gonna move in there?
We're in there now.
Oh, you're there now.
Yeah, okay. And everything is fully custom.
That's sick.
And I remember going to the design center and meeting with the lady to help us like pick out the backsplash and what our tiles supposed to look like in our hardwood, and where we want carpet, how many outlets do we want inside the house, and how far apart are they supposed to be.
You were really specific.
Everything. How many fans do we want? Like everything. Where do we want the fireplace? Like we built it from scratch. And one thing about this design center is I started to see things that I never knew they even put inside of houses. Yeah. Right? And so, like I said, whatever you can see, you can seize. Or you can seize whatever you can see, right? The problem is a lot of those things I didn't even know existed, right? And exposing yourself to new things that you never knew existed will help you readjust what your vision board looks like. Okay, another example. The first time I ever flew on a private jet, It was like the.
Dude, that's so sad.
It was.
I want to fly.
It was well. I
So
rented it. It was not mine.
No, but that's
we just
still,
chartered
like, the dream. That's
it.
sick.
It was just something on my bucket list, and
Yeah.
so I remember it was me and my wife, and then we had our son. He was like maybe 3 months old.
Yeah.
And flying on a jet, like it was my first time ever doing that, but I had exposed myself to that. Okay, and so what the issue was when I flew commercial again.
You couldn't go back.
It was a horrible experience,
Really?
right? And so we went from being on a private jet and being able to lay down, walk around, go to a bathroom that my arms aren't touching the walls, like it's huge. Like we have a person that's bringing us drinks and food, and like it's just us.
Yeah.
To sitting commercial and being told where to sit, and like you can't move from here. Put your seatbelt on. I shot myself in the foot because I exposed myself to what the feeling was of sitting and flying private.
Yeah.
Right. And so now everything that I do now is the decisions I'm making now are how can I get back to private? How can I fly a private jet again? How can I own my own one day? Right. But I never would have known the feeling if I didn't expose myself to that type of experience. Right. It's just like buying a car. I buy cars all the time. Right. The experience you get in buying a car from a Lamborghini dealership versus the experience you get in not knocking any type of car. I've had versus buying a car from like a Honda dealership. The experience and the customer service completely different. Yeah. Right? At Lamborghini, they serve you wine, mocktails, champagne, cocktails. That's what they bring you on a tray. No, pretty much, dude. And then, at Honda, you get like the Karen that's sitting in the front, like, oh, go sit down and wait your turn. Help yourself to the great value snacks. You know what I'm saying? And so it's the experience. And so walking in, and I don't mean to sound like a douche or sound arrogant. Like, I'm just saying.
But it's you were there before, bro. Like, you have a picture on Instagram where you're driving a Malibu. Like,
right.
That's
my first car. Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying is I've been both.
Yeah.
And the importance of exposing yourself to environments that you're not used to. I mean, it's astronomical in what it could do and how it could affect your life. Because once you get the experience of a private jet, then you start thinking of decisions like a private jet.
Yeah.
Right? You start thinking of the Lamborghini decisions versus the Honda decisions. And that's what I'm saying. A 6-figure earner is playing on a completely different field than a 7-figure earner. Yeah. Right? These guys are chasing one thing and different types of experiences, while another group is chasing mediocrity, stuff like that. It's hard to explain, but it's completely different.
Yeah. So. That's sick, dude. And bringing it back to like what we're talking about, like visualization and stuff. Like, imagine this, like if God created us at his own image, what does that say about us? That if he's a creator, we're creators too.
100%.
Like, we can create whatever the freak we want. And that's what I feel like it's my purpose in life. Because like, bro, I want to show, because like, I'm a freaking regular dude. I struggle as most people, and probably more. Like, I'm a freaking immigrant.
Yeah.
Like 80,000 people, like in a farm, whatever, like in Chile. And I've been here 2 years, and I want to show people what's possible for them.
Yeah.
That regular dudes are the ones that actually make it. It's not like you were born like special kid, or like your parents were different, God love. No, bro, that's full of crap.
Yeah.
Just regular dude.
Yeah.
And I really want to show kids that, like that it's possible.
Right.
For everybody.
Right.
So, dude, I've enjoyed this conversation a lot.
Me too, brother.
It's been really, really good. Is there anything else you want to finish and advice? I mean, you've given a lot of value and advice. I'm really grateful for it. But anything else you want to finish too for these young kids that are listening to you?
Just this, everything that we've talked about. I think if I would want anybody to take anything away from this, it would be, if I were to sum any of this up, it would be to change your objective, right? Whether it be monetary, I think monetary is not always the best objective to chase. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Okay.
Even in the start, like sometimes you gotta start with
sometimes, right? But it can't be long because it's not sustainable. Because you're never gonna make enough.
Okay.
You're always gonna want to make more and more and more. And so my advice would be to become very, very clear on what your objective is. Because once you know what your objective is, it starts to change your actions. Once you start to change your actions, then it'll start to change your results. And once it starts to change your results, it starts to change your emotions, how you look at the world, how you feel towards other people. And once you can change the way you feel towards other people, whether it be people who are giving you negative energy or positive energy, once you can control your emotions, I mean, that's all, you become powerful. Okay. And so my advice would be to, 1, change your objective. Number 2, this can piggyback on number 1, is time, like we talked about.
Yeah, and that's a powerful one.
And if I've always talked about time and how time is the most ultimate and precious commodity that one could obtain.
Yeah.
But I've never learned it, and I've never been so sure of it than now. Right? Because one thing, and I've learned this from a book, one thing that I do know is that if I attack everything as if I have one more opportunity, I'm going to attack it differently. If I go to the gym tonight, like it's my last opportunity to work out, I'm going to get the best workout in. If I take a sales call, like it's the last sales call that I'll be able to ever take, I'm going to close them. Right? If I go over to my mom's house, like it's the last conversation I'm ever going to have with her, the conversation is going to look a little bit different. Right? I'm going to tell her things that I probably should have told her way long ago. Right? And so that principle can be applied to anything in life. Is if you can attack things like you have one more opportunity, then once you really do have one more opportunity, you're going to be able to seize that moment and not lose it. Right? And so those would be my 2 words of advice: is change your objective, change what you're passionate about, and become super clear on what it is that you want in life. Is it time? Is it money? Is it impact? Is it influence? Become super clear on what it is that you want. And number 2, attack everything like it's your last one more, because you'll never know when your last one more is. And if you're attacking everything like it's your last one more, you'll be very appreciative when you don't have another one more. So those would be my 2 words of advice, my 2 tips, I guess, in ending this.
Bro, I feel like people go through phases and they get like new messages to share with the world. And I truly feel like in this episode, like everything that you've talked in the beginning with time, people, and everything, I feel like that is like your new motto, like your new message to share with the world. And I'm excited just to see it, how you're gonna the people you're gonna influence with that specific message.
So I'm gonna put that out there in the world right now.
Yeah.
The way that I am now, just because of things that have happened recently, it's turned me into a whole nother person.
Like I can feel it, bro. It's crazy.
And it's shown me things that I thought were important but weren't really important.
Yeah.
And I promise you, like I'm just getting started. I'm gonna be a monster.
Yeah.
And I guess this could be the 3rd advice. And this is what I'm all about right now. Impress yourself. That's what it's about. Look yourself in the mirror, and every day you go out, reinvent yourself. Like I went through where I was off of social media for like a month straight, which I've never done because that's my main stream of income. I was off social media for a month, didn't work, didn't take one call, didn't text one person, which I've never done in my life. And I had the opportunity to feel what it was like to reinvent yourself. Now,
was that recently?
Yeah, it was like 2 months ago was when I took off. I went ghost. And it was the first time I ever did that, but it was so nice.
I saw, because you're always posting in for like a long time.
Yeah. And I had the opportunity to evaluate myself, self-assess myself, kind of punch myself in the face for things that I wish I would have done differently. And now it's time for me to go out and impress myself now. So those would be the 3 things. Change your objective. Attack everything like it's your last time. your last opportunity. And every day go out and reinvent yourself to impress yourself.
Bro, I love it. There's so much value in this episode. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you for having me, bro.
And thank you for being honest, bro. Like, because it came from your heart, so I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, stay tuned for more and follow Dallin because this episode was freaking sick. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks, man.